Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and the prosecution and a lot of people, well, they just got rocked by something in the Trump trial. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. You know, there's certain networks that you're not really expecting to hear anything pro-Trump or even just not anti-Trump from. Chief among those networks is MSNBC. And a judge, a former judge, was on their panel when the two anchors are saying basically, not only should the gag order be on Trump, it's not against, by the way, Michael Cohen or anybody else, but not only should it be on Trump, it should be on Trump surrogates, like people that have nothing to do with the case, like Rick Santorum, or Trump's children, or me, or any of us. They were trying to say Trump surrogates. There's a lot of us. Should have a gag order on them. People who aren't involved in the case, try enforcing that. See if we wouldn't bring the most massive First Amendment case you've seen in your life to the Supreme Court and finally do away with gag orders altogether. See if that won't happen. So the judge actually says, no, you can't do that. You can't put a gag order on all these people. That's nuts. It's insane. And to hear this on MSNBC, it's kind of stunning. I want you guys to listen to it and then let me know what you think. Has Trump been even treated fair in this trial? Let me know. As always, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.
John E. Jones, who previously served as Chief Judge of the U.S. Middle District Court of Pennsylvania, where he was appointed to the bench by President George W. Bush in 2002. He is now also president of Dickinson College. Judge, thank you so much for being with us. And let me start with what we just heard from Rick Scott. We know that Donald Trump is under a gag order, and yet you have someone close to him who would like to be potentially his vice presidential running mate, saying the judge's daughter is a political operative who raises money for Democrats, the lead prosecutor's wife, a significant donor to Democrats. What is your reaction to that? And is there anything Judge Merchan can or should do about people who are close to Donald Trump saying things that maybe he can't?
I don't think so, Chris. And first of all, it's great to be with you. But I think that's so much outside noise to Judge Merchan. You know, when I was on the bench and I had a controversial case, I used to joke that I thought my name was changed to Bush-appointed judge because you get typecast in a certain way. I don't find that as anything that Merchan is going to pay particular attention to. And quite honestly, you know, it sort of flies in the face of what we can see or hear with our own eyes in terms of the way the trial's being conducted.
Well, and in fact, his family's not there. Well, Eric Trump was there for one day, but he hasn't had validators there for him. But doesn't the gag order also say that people close to Trump, that it's a violation for other people on his behalf to demean family of the court, anyone besides the judge and the prosecutors?
Well, the problem, Andrea, is that, you know, for Merchan, well, first of all, the people would have to act in the person of the district attorney, the prosecutors, to try to call him on that. And then the problem becomes creating a nexus between the speaker and Donald Trump. You know, did he do it? Did Scott volunteer it, or was he goaded into doing it by Trump? It's probably an area that Merchan and the prosecution doesn't want to wade into. And again, I think Merchan has done a great job thus far managing the case, and he's tried to avoid pretty successfully the kind of sideshows that can take a trial off track, and that's what this would be.
Well, that's one of the key things that a judge has to do, right, is keep the trial on track. And part of that is what he says, what he does. But also another part of that is, I think, you know, does the jury look at Judge Merchan or any judge, you or anyone else who's ever served that way, and say, this is someone I trust, this is someone I listen to? What we've talked about is sort of how the jury is reacting to, say, Susan Necheles, the defense attorney, how they're reacting to Stormy Daniels, the witness. But should we be paying a lot of attention to how the jury is responding to Judge Merchan?
Absolutely, Chris. It's an excellent point. juries feel a certain closeness to the presiding judge, and it's logical that they would feel that way. The judge greets them in the morning. The judge presides over the case. The judge gives them breaks during the day, including a lunch break. He says farewell to them at night. I go back to the E. Jean Carroll case. If you remember, Trump's attorneys, including Attorney Habba, tried to run roughshod over the presiding judge in that case. They were discourteous to the judge, and I really think the jury didn't like that. The jury took that, offensively, and so, you have to be careful when you are, in this case, a defense attorney, or in, the very defendant, the former president in this case. If the jury thinks that you're abusing their friend, their protector, a person they bond with in the person of the trial judge, and I saw this happen time again in cases that I presided over, then they're going to react badly, and they'll count that as a strike against the party that does that.
And we just have about a minute, but let me ask you a quick question about how concerned he may be about trying to, on such an important case, avoid being overturned on appeal, and on the introduction of prejudicial information during the direct testimony of Stormy Daniels. He said afterwards, out of the earshot of the jury, of course, at times that he jumped in to strike things without an objection because the defense lawyers hadn't objected. What did you make of that?
That's a great question. Yeah, well, that's a great question, Andrea, because, it's not just objections by the lawyers. The presiding judge has the obligation to protect the record in the case. And if you have to jump in your own initiative, then you must do that. You're not a potted plant. You have to just sit there, or you don't have to just sit there and listen to it. And I thought he did that well under the circumstances. And look, he's not afraid of being reversed. I think he's in the moment. If you judge defensively, you're not going to judge well. So you just have to do your job. You hunker down, and in a case like this, there's a lot coming at you, and you just manage it the best that you can.
Judge John E. Jones, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. And